They weren't expecting it to be played, but some of the top pilots of the tournament are experts at the Panther. I think it's very much a question of which hands pilot it.
The
Love the Muhammad Ali shirt. That
goes crazy.
So hard. That's so hard.
That's awesome.
He's like, I'm not wearing the jersey. I'm representing the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know what kind of ventilation they have in these strikers, but sometimes the jackets must get a bit hot.
Honestly, the Muhammad Ali tank, like, that would go wild. I want to see that in game. You know,
oh,
we get that
yeah.
as a cosmetic on the pilots. Desperate.
We got television hats.
I'm on my hands and knees begging. Amazing CSUN Games. Bring me the tank top.
Yeah. It's styling for sure. And I really like the jackets, even though we're talking about the absence of one.
These are pretty awesome, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of sad we didn't get one of these.
Yeah,
the team jackets here for those folks lucky enough to qualify for this event. It's pretty awesome, pretty sweet item to take home. Even if you go home without the trophy, the jacket's pretty dang cool. Yeah,
and if some of you who have been watching maybe a few more matches, who have stayed up throughout the whole last couple of nights, we appreciate you, first of all, and you may have picked up on the fact that the jackets are color-coded. We've got the Japanese teams in the tan, the Chinese teams in the red, and the North American teams in the blue.
Kind of like the Japanese tan. They look good.
It does look like a pilot jacket.
Yeah, it really is giving pilot.
Giving pilot.
It's really giving pilot.
It is. You get a few aviators in there. That would be pretty cool.
I mean, any of these jackets, frankly, would go great with some mirrored aviators. I want to see somebody rock out with the mirrored aviators on stage. Maybe the whole team. That would go incredibly
hard. Empyrean would definitely do it.
Because
if they've already got the coordination,
that would go wild.
Yeah.
With the Empyrean hand signal with the aviators. We got to get some of these teams on that.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make a run to the convenience store, pick up some aviators.
Some serious conversations to be had in the
boy.
post-match.
I mean, you got to think about the walkout, right? You talk about strategy, you talk about team coordination. If you're not prepping the walkout, like, what are you even doing here?
Oh my! Yesterday when we had even the player intros, that intro where we wiped the glasses and then focused. I've been thinking about that for 24 hours.
That's next level. I got to ask the cameraman to do that in the next event I go to. Now that it's been unlocked for me, I've seen what's possible.
Yeah.
I've seen the light.
Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of innovation both in and out of game, and I think there's room for a bit more. Again, both in and out of game, because we've got some pretty serious faces, some pretty funny faces, and lots of outfits that can be pushed to their limits. But by the same token, the strikers yet to be pushed to their limits. We are just now stepping into Sky Raider territory as that started to become something we're talking about. We're still seeing teams experiment with whether or not they want Hurricane, which I think is kind of a foregone conclusion for my part.
I'm with you on Palm Bay. I feel like you just need it.
Yeah.
However, I think, looking at this map pool right now, we're getting a different selection in each best of 3. I think it's going to be really interesting when we looking about later into the tournament. Those upper bracket finals, lower bracket finals, and grand finals will be best of 5.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to play every map.
Yeah.
It's going to test really the teams, their strategic versatility, their diversity. But to stay alive right now in the tournament, you just got to get through these BO3s. Shuffle versus CLGG. Maybe I'd say Shuffle are the favorites on paper. Being a high-ranked team in game, you think their individual piloting skills are strong. But CLGG, like you mentioned, the teamwork is an X factor, and it tends to be, I think, more significant right now in competitive Mecha Break.
Yeah, I think that this comes down to Shuffle maybe having a little bit more expected innate game sense and ability to pick up on their own because of their high rank, where CLGG, I was very impressed with their play yesterday. I think they demonstrated incredible team play, and that's what I'm giving to them as an edge in this round. We are starting things off on Palm Bay Harbor, so I'm expecting that Hurricane because of what we just talked about, but we won't be seeing Aquila or Inferno.
Yeah, 2 of those heavy damage strikers, and so if you eliminate them, this heavy tanking setup becomes all the stronger. Sky Raider being hovered for John. Curious to see if they end up committing in that direction. Hovering a Panaka, surely. Are they hovering it? Is this a no support strat? They're going to go for that. Shuffle. This is getting wild.
With a Falcon?
Okay, no, they do.
Okay, Illumine.
I've been baited. Pianue.
I am noticing that they don't have a Tricera, though. That's interesting. To swap the Tricera out for a Falcon would be risky.
Trolled. We are being trolled. Confirmed. They're hovering. There's no way you don't play Tricera on this map. If you don't play Tricera on Palm Bay, I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I have seen enough Mecha Break to know you need Tricera on Palm Bay.
And I'm surprised that neither team is going with Hurricane, but I guess if nobody plays it, we can call the playing field even.
Yeah. Yeah, and Panther and Falcon for CLGG. A lot of mobility and pick-off potential, but maybe going to be lacking in some of that raw damage department.
Yeah, Panther has been experimented with quite a bit in the last few days, has been good at picking apart the tankier compositions, but on Palm Bay Harbor, I hesitate to say that that is as effective because nobody really has to move that far.
Yeah, it seems like a tough map for those like heavy turret mechs, just struggling to break those positions when the strikers hold it down on the cart. Panther just, you kind of poke at the edges. Maybe if you're lucky, you can find a vulnerable Luminate, but it can be hard to actually secure that kill.
I'm noticing that we are going into the Falcon Sky Raider matchup, so this will be a really good test of who's actually more valuable. A reminder that CLGG get the ultimate high ground advantage, so we'll see how this ends up playing out because we haven't really seen a whole lot of strong counters to this so far. That is almost a box on John. That would have been a terrible win start.
Very scary.
So the last time we saw this strat where middle high ground, we'll call it, was given up, it ended up being a complete surrounding of the low ground and ultimately a victory for those that were able to come from height quite expectedly. I'd hope that CLGG are able to take advantage of that, but the point's unlocking soon, and I already see Shuffle on it, so CLGG have got to put in overtime to get here, and they already committed Tricera onto the point. Stego and Welkin going to join in soon. Do they have the damage to pour into this? Because the Jamming Haze is doing a lot of work, and remember, Shuffle have Sky Raider to disrupt all the more.
They do win that first capture, and not dropping any players. Shuffle going to be feeling pretty good about that. John now on the Sky Raider wants to disrupt this opponent position as they try to start progressing their own payload. John fighting alone here with a lot of confidence. It's a bit risky on the Sky Raider, but Jamley busy elsewhere, just trying to hold this engagement off at the moment.
Stalling things out, and I think that's only right. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but the more aggression you are able to put onto the opposing cart, the more you keep off of your own, especially when you're playing somebody like Alicnes that has wiggle room, Sky Raider as well, who has escapability to work with and make sure your life gets all the easier. A little bit of commitment out of CLGG onto the cart does cost Jamlee their life. So Welkin getting a bit too big for his britches, and those britches are big. It's like a 22-ton, no, I think probably more, ultra heavy.
Yeah, you got to check the tear weight on that Welkin as he's in here, absolutely spinning to win, smoking the opposition on the payload, and Shuffle off to a pretty massive early lead. CLGG scattered to the win, still progressing their payload, but this objective is about to open up, and CLGG are still waiting on a spawner. They lose another. Seems like this capture maybe is a foregone conclusion. The Shuffle will go out to a massive lead if they can score this gap.
Yeah, Shuffle know what's up right now. The numbers advantage, it gives them the point. And I will say, because CLGG have actually been pushing their payload during this time, the lead is not egregious. So every time you see Shuffle rocket ahead for a little while, when you actually reach the next point, when Shuffle eventually hit B, CLGG have a little while to catch up before the point unlocks. So this game is, for all intents and purposes, exactly even unless somebody starts reverse pushing Shuffle or CLGG.
Still, the kills keep going the way of Shuffle. The advantage maybe could be bigger, but it feels like the fights are all going their way. They're in control. The lead manageable, but still significant.
And this is really going to stack up because right now you're not seeing it affect these players nearly as much. Later in the game is when this is going to become a big problem. If your death timers are super long as CLGG, you're not going to be able to fight past point C and know that you actually have some wiggle room in terms of respawns and pushing your own objective.
Carts rolling forward for both teams. There's a natural opportunity to kind of make a bit of a truce here as the cards pull away from one another. But fighting in this opening is pretty critical. Zhuhai just holding that cart down. Tricera doing his job.
Just letting a shield recover as well. It's going to be nice because Stego will need all the survivability possible, especially when we get Shoe Point C. And here we are. Control Point C up. very soon, but we've got a few seconds, and that's going to even things out. So we are, again, going to be starting off this, arguably the most impactful point, because you will not get to stall things out via control point in the same way. Jamli, again, going down on the Welkin, getting over-aggressive is costing CLGG a lot, and remember, extending their own death timer in the process.
This damage being pumped from Zhuhai, able to get a lot done here in the open now. Nowhere to hide. CLGG drop another player. Shuffle charging forward, wanting to close out this map, open up the series with a win. Solid 15% advantage in the payload push, and their cart's holding strong.
Now, Zhuhai has been playing really well this game. Falcon has been fantastic. I think that what we're really seeing here is the difference between Falcon and Skyraider. We knew we were going to be putting it to the test in this particular round. Falcon's just not able to get as much done with the chip damage as Skyraider's able to with the jamming missiles.
Yeah, and they're all biding their time, waiting for one crucial moment, saving up all their resources. Seems like it's coming in here. Can they break the death ball from Shuffle, holding this down? Panther really struggling to make any kind of an impact here on the cart, trying to push away the setup of those heavy tanks, but they're tolerating the pressure admirably.
Jamli down again.
And without Jamli, I wonder, can CLG do this? The cart's pushing forward to finish. There's no real hope to push their own payload. They've got to make an aggressive move, stifle the opponent's progress.
With Jamli down, it's 13 seconds left, and Jake, if you cannot spin, you cannot win this game. 98% to 82. Shuffle have capped every point so far, and while it has been a constant brawl, well, this has still been a pretty even game. It has been a decisive victory for Shuffle, who let no objective go.
Yeah, they look great, you know, winning a lot of fights, not getting a ton of full team wipes, but that's not necessary on Palm Bay Harbor, right? They were constantly pressuring the objective. They were winning those key fights on capture points. They knew exactly what they needed to do, and they got it done here.
Yeah.
Looking great, honestly, on map 1. I'm a little worried for CLGG. I mean, when it comes to, like, the raw fights, Shuffle are winning. When it comes to the objective pressure, they're also doing better there. Kind of back to the drawing board for CLGG. What do they do on map 2? How do they change it up? Maybe you take us like a Graceland Sky City where, you know, all bets are off and you kind of play the game your own way.
Yeah.
Still, scary spot to be.
I mean, Graceland Sky City is where CLGG found a win yesterday, so
yeah,
maybe they go back to that old and gold. But looking at this game, I would argue that Shuffle have answered the question that I had for them moving into it, which was whether their team play was going to be on point. This game, they looked very much on the same page, and what was really deciding that for me was the timing with which they were all able to get onto the point. That's really not an individual exercise. They were beating CLGG, not just in the actual fights, but in the timing to get there and setting themselves up for success when the points became available. Yeah,
and in that spawn on Palm Bay, right, CLGG and the red team able to get to that high ground early, able to take control, and it was really masterful from Shuffle, the way they rotated around the map, eventually fully flipping the map, getting that high ground control, and fighting incredibly well from that position. I think a lot of teams would have crumbled in that spot.
I'm so happy that Skyraider is finding a point right now as well. Like, that's weirdly, Palm Bay Harbor is like it. Palm Bay Harbor's introduced Hurricane again, and it's introduced Skyraider again. It's like the map that has changed the most since we started this tournament.
Yeah, I tell you, I think really, like, I was surprising. I thought coming into this event there was a few strikers. I'm like, is this really going to work competitively, right? Like, sure, all the strikers are fun. They can all work in a ranked environment. You're just like playing with your friends. That they all are pretty interesting. However, I was worried in a competitive environment, you know, like what are the most organized, effective strikers going to be? But it seems that all of them have their place, right? Especially with the band pick format. Teams that have been forced to innovate, they've been forced to adapt throughout these matches, and this is no exception. The meta continues to evolve here. As you mentioned, Skyraider really, I think, finding a strong place, a real argument for his presence on Palm Bay.
Soon we're going to find out Panaka is the answer to all of these things. And
then
we'll have everyone.
It's going to get crazy. It's going to get
Panaka,
really crazy.
Skyraider, Hurricane. That's actually how you win Palm Bay Harbor, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, the Panaka walls are can be wild. A lot of opportunity for creativity, dropping those walls down, maybe protecting your allies. However, I think the Luminae's just raw healing presence is so valuable. At this level of play, the mobility, the raw healing, it's so much value from Luminae. Even that gas, the aggressive gas, able to put that on an objective and threaten the opponents when you need to.
I will admit I am being a little bit facetious about the Panaka.
I
but
want to
like,
see a little
like
Panaka.
it
We
could
saw a
happen.
bit of Panaka, right? We have seen some in the tournament, even when Luminae wasn't banned.
Yeah.
I don't know that it did fantastically well, but people played it.
Yeah, and you know, if you are going to go close range, if you are going to try and tank bust, but Akka actually outputs a decent. I don't know. We're talking about a striker that wasn't even picked, but just because, and I think showcasing the innovation that we've already seen in this tournament so far. Taking a look at the match recap, this was a fantastic game from Shuffle. It didn't feel like CLGG were ever completely out of it. They fought very well the whole time, and you are still going to see some really impressive statistics out of them. I'm actually looking specifically at their Stego player, Hyundai, who put up a really impressive amount of damage. I think that's 1.3 million damage over the course of this game. Some of the most that we see out of, actually the most that we see out of anyone on the map.
Yeah, pretty huge Stego game, and only one death. So going pretty well is the Stego fight. Both of the Triceras, of course, being that main role for capturing the objective, naturally going to get a lot of points, a lot of merit points on something like Palm Bay. But CLGG keeping that remarkably close. Halchigua, let's see. Pretty solid stats here. Pretty significant damage being dumped there from the Welkin. And Welkin, I think, is such a striker under so much pressure in these games, right? You not only are you crucial for defending your team, you're the one who may disrupt, who may need to contest the objective, and I think that means there's so many tasks that the team is expecting you to fulfill, and you've got to find the balance between all of them.
And you rely a lot on the coordination from the rest of the roster as well, because even looking at this last game, we had a lot of highlights on Welkin. It's very infrequent that you see the amount of Welkin deaths, actually, that we saw from CLGG, but I think that this really emphasizes how much team coordination was necessary and maybe a lack of it from CLGG in being able to keep their Welkin alive, whereas Shuffle had a lot more free and open space to use the Welkin to enable other players.
Yeah, I watch a lot of the top teams. I think they're really putting a ton of pressure on the enemy Welkins.
Yeah.
They know that's, the hero who has to put themselves on the front line, right? Somebody's got to do it. Some strikers got to take the initiation. Often it is going to be Welkin. And so that makes you one who has to straddle that line of like being willing to take a lot of damage to get low. And then at the crucial moment, just in time, back out, but not too early, right? Where you still need to contribute a lot. You still need to put that damage down, get your skills into the team fight. So challenging role for any team. It seems like Welkin, maybe one of the most dominant strikers overall in the tournament. It is going to be Grayson Sky City. So this is the pick that CLGG, that worked for them last time. This makes a lot of sense. You run it back again, but Shuffle looked very strong in the death match, just a raw skill test on Palm Bay. So it's a very different map. I see why they pick it, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them to get a win.
I think it's cool that they're willing to pick it. I'm in the same boat as you, where I don't know if it works given what we saw from Shuffle, but I'm willing to extend the olive branch to CLGG, see how this works for them, because they managed to play it very well yesterday, even in a matchup that they did ultimately lose. Now seeing how it goes when they are in the lower bracket might end up working well for them. Lumine ban is pretty big as well, and Panaka, we're going supportless, baby!
Oh, wow. Okay, this is crazy. This is something, I haven't seen this yet. So complete supportless, yes, I mean, on a deathmatch map, right? Like we've seen a lot of these deathmatch maps being incredibly slow and cautious, poking each other out, but with no support, no repair available on the map. Sure, it's like Tricera and Stego can heal a bit, but they're not really the main elements in that role.
You know, it's weird. I'm not seeing anybody pick Stego right now. At least nobody's hovering it.
That is surprising. I would think a Stego would be still pretty useful for
especially when you
repair
don't have
armor.
a support, right? Like, you want Stego Tricera, in theory.
Yeah, I would have thought the same way, but they're both going for very mobile compositions, right? Inferno, Falcon, Aleseness, Panther, Welkin. I mean, this is a true deathmatch setup. Every man for himself. Yeah. Playing your own lives.
This is the equivalent.
Team is taking a Stego, so they clearly, it seems like, scrim each other. They must have the same read on the meta when there's no, maybe they think Stego is too reliant on heal sustain.
I can see that perspective, and I respect it, especially when you're going up against an
Don't
Inferno.
get me wrong. I'd be on Stego every day of the week.
This match feels like the equivalent of throwing your gloves off in a hockey game.
Yeah, this is
like,
it, man.
This
like,
is going to be a beatdown one way or another.
You know what? I'm going Panther. You can't stop me. I'm going Panther. I'm going Aleseness. I'm going. This is what your support player's like. All right, lock in. I'm not healing nobody.
Yeah. we got. Actually, I didn't even see what the actual support players ended up pivoting to, because I was so focused on where we were going. So taking a look at that, it's going to be Kisei who normally plays the Lumine on Welkin, interestingly enough. And on the other side, we've got a pivot of the support player to the Panther.
Oh my. Wait, they're honor dueling. Are they actually honor dueling?
I mean, it looks like
Oh
nobody's
my
shooting.
god. Wait, this is legend. This is like
What?
everyone 1v1ing. This is an actual respect battle. Panthers in the center of the ring, the arena. The gloves are certainly off here.
Nice parry. Oh, but he misses!
Wait, whoa!
That's a little BM, but, you know, you can't really avoid it. I get it.
Shoot the spectators. It's the risk you take, right? Taking that big charge. Panthers opening this duel in the mid.
I can't believe that we're getting this right now. Lao X actually got the nice parry, but good dash cancel out of Bian Yue. Actually makes this workable. Panther duels can last a while, though we actually saw one earlier in the day. So we may see teams eventually lose their patience because you only got 4 minutes, and this duel genuinely could last 4 minutes.
I want to see somebody break the honor duel and just start killing spectators.
Yeah.
Just fearlessly, like somebody standing still, you just nuke them. 3-2-1 with all your allies.
They
can't kill each other.
Did they discuss this pre-match?
They had to. There's no way. I saw them typing. I'm sure they were talking about it. There's no way this is just random. Oh
my god, it's working! Low X! He doesn't even need to hit the spear charge, but he gets parried! There we go.
Goes.
Nice destruction. So now does the fight break out?
Or the Panthers, is the Panther the king of the arena?
Okay.
Oh, the Falcons are also dueling in the sky at the same time.
And it looks like it's going once again Shuffle's way, but this time it'll even the playing field between CLGG and Shuffle, so we're back to 1-1, and it's Lao X who's being put to the test, this time not against the Mirror matchup, but against the Welkin, who gets shoved out of the arena down to half health. Panther is so hard to duel.
XMPY trying to battle against this Panther, trying to evict that king of the arena, needs to dodge these critical charges. Welkin way less mobile than Panther, boxes himself into the corner, but splitting
the
to wings!
Ends up working for him, and we get the finisher. Shuffle up 2-1. Yeah, that Welkin's not long for the world, though.
He's on like 1 HP against the enemy Welkin. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, especially when you know that melee bypasses fluid armor. This guy's one shot. Wait, he's doing so much damage? Wait a minute!
No
he does
way!
it! XMPY! Wow!
Another a back-to-back Welkin finisher. This has started to look rough for CLGG. Shuffle. Okay, well, bye-bye.
Yeah, like
you've had your fun, Welkin. Okay, this finisher goes crazy. This is like the hardest finisher in the game, man. Like, Jesus, look at that.
I gotta tell you, Jake, I think that Shuffle have won, because if you're gonna try and kill an Elysnes in 1 minute and 55 seconds, I don't think you're doing it. Nice use of the Gauss cannons, and it's Elysnes versus Elysnes. I mean, if this match does not devolve, we are not seeing either of these kill each other.
Surely. Oh, and he even interrupted that damage with the Gauss cannon.
Yeah.
Jamli about to lose the first form.
Wait, actually, maybe we do see the kill. I did not expect it to be this dominant, but
kind of
the parry on this is Jamli is actually kind of getting taken to school.
Haoqihua kind of nice with it right now. Kind of clean on the Elysnes.
Oh, and he slams another one! Dude, Gauss cannons end this duel right now.
Yeah. No mistakes available here for Jamli. Shuffle. Haoqihua showing why he's the high-rank player here.
And another one. We're into baby Elysnes, and Haoqihua has not lost a single life yet. Still got the parries available, and if he hits one single parry, you can 100-0 baby Elysnes as big Elysnes.
Yeah, and also the Gauss cannon, right?
Yep.
Very scary. Oh, there it is.
Gauss
Big
cannon?
damage.
Gauss cannon for the follow-up? Oh, he doesn't even need
the melee. Oh, the finisher. Yeah, you know you're going for that. You know we're taking that.
So it's a shuffle. It's a shuffle victory. 30 seconds left. Again, you're not getting through Elysnes, as Haoqihua lost literally no lives during that.
He's just dominant right now. Is this a Tricer? Okay, this is a little... Something's wrong here.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the melee, really tough matchup, but it's nice that Xiaohan knows how to play this, doesn't let the Elysnes just sit on top of him, and is actually making this very, very difficult. You've almost got the angle, though. Sitting right on top is exactly where you want to be as Elysnes. That does get popped into the baby form, but again, losing matchup for Tricera in the long run because Elisnes has so many lives. You have to rely on the burst, but you don't have it. That was a fun win from Shuffle. That was a look at that applause,
respect.
camaraderie.
A lot of respect between these two squads.
I love these guys.
The 1v1 I mean, that's something I just never expected to see here. All the 1v1s here. I wonder if they're gonna run it back or take the team fight this time.
I think this is the kind of. I'm pausing as I see what's happening. Are we?
No, we're setting up. We're finding the proper arena. They're discussing the proper arena. Is this Tricera is the 1v1? Oh my god. The Tricera 1v1 is a little sus, alright? I'm not gonna lie, it's a little sus.
How mechanically challenging
this is how we this is he's like turning to the different
shield. He's reloading so he doesn't lose the shield.
Wait,
on his front side.
That's kind of next level, right? He's got like the different turning, showing his back to do the shields.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised Zhuhai isn't punishing this more, but 8 fly, nice with it, as they say. Does miss the howitzer for a second, but now he's on top. Oh! It's a battle for who gets to be on top, who gets to be in that spot where you simply don't get hit anymore, and unfortunately 8's losing it.
8 fly in trouble, under a lot of damage here.
He had to hit the reload.
Turning the reload, turning his back on the shield, but he's so low, under so much pressure. Zhuhai even getting some regen.
It looks so BM, but it could work.
The howitzer's gonna end this one. Yeah, and let's see the Tricera finisher. I don't think I've even seen this yet.
It's pretty fun.
Oh my god.
Look, howitzer at the end? Boom.
Oh, that's nice. I like the slow-mo finishers, like what everyone else is like watching.
And they're all letting him have it too.
Inferno surely is the answer to a Tricera.
Yeah. Yeah, you win this matchup.
You would think, hold on to damage, but no, Inferno just cooking. Just cooking. Who's coming in to challenge?
1-1. Inferno v Inferno. This is big. Got to get the charge up.
I'm actually curious to see the Inferno matchup, how this plays.
It'll be about who uses their decoys first, I imagine.
Yeah, I think PLE already deployed theirs. See if we can turn it around.
It's also interesting how close range they're getting, so you don't have to charge up the primary as much.
Ah, yeah, true. Firing it a little earlier, less full charge.
Yeah.
Big damage, though, coming down. PLE looks to be on top in this early trade, but without that powerful cooldown, maybe it'll be hard to finish it off. Decoys being deployed. Trying to just get that last little bit of damage. Charging up a shot here. This is critical.
Got to hit this one. It actually could just finish the round immediately, and I think he's got it. The lock-on's there, but maybe. Oh, one more. Yeah, one more necessary. PLE should have this in the bag.
Playing the cooldowns gets it done.
So 2-1 up for Shuffle. We've got 2 minutes left. But if Shuffle take this in the honorable 1v1, I mean, they take it all the way home.
Oh, Welkin, great counter here to the Inferno. But hold on, not getting much done in the box there. And now Inferno can start to kite away, play range. Welkin has to close the gap here, getting value on the axe. PLE knows it too, constantly kiting away, being difficult to catch. Has a lot of damage to pump, but Welkin, natural counter to Inferno, of course, with that gas, being able to block a lot of the laser damage.
Yeah. Riv will be the first to tell you that this is a matchup that you genuinely can win, but you've got to hit the melees. You got to be patient with your cooldowns, and PLE is maintaining spacing really well in such a way that forces Kisei to be super aggressive. Finally gets the box down onto PLE, but that gets answered back really quickly with a lot of damage. Kisei actually could be bursted down here. One shot would do it, and we've got it. PLE outplaying even the Welkin counter matchup.
Let's see who comes up next. The next challenger. Inferno, 2 kills already. Oh, but surely Falcon is too much, too hard to even put any damage on. Chujang dancing on him right now. Look at it. Oh, this is a masterclass in the Falcon, really showing what can be done on this striker.
Yeah, and we actually managed to burn the defensive cooldown of PLE. I like that he uses it early, just to make sure that you get multiple uses off in this engagement, since it will go on cooldown. Kijang, gotta be careful about when he's timing the burst, because you don't want to dump your missiles into an evading PLE.
Yeah. Laser skill, so powerful. But it's just hard to connect any damage onto the mobility that Chujang is bringing right now. His energy is getting a little bit low, though, and that's going to be a key resource. We know Inferno can bring the damage. If at any moment Falcon oversteps, gets caught in trouble, would die very, very quickly. So this energy
30 seconds
so
left.
Critical right now.
This could be the last kill of the tournament, and already chaos is starting to break out. We got boxes, we got Welkin fights, and we are truly celebrating an exit from the tournament, but a fantastic way to end it. 4-1. Shuffle have got plenty, and while CLGG do end up claiming at least 1 point back, I think it's fair to say, Jake, that the winners were the audience all along.
We need a 1v1 mode. That's all I have to say after this one, man. We need a 1v1 mode. A lot of respect between these two teams. A lot of camaraderie here in C and Shuffle. Giving a round of applause to their opponents. It's an honorable exit for CLGG.
Yeah, this was really, really cool. And an aspect that I think we can very easily forget when we are in the lower bracket, we are sending people home. It becomes very much, esports tournament, who's going to win it all, and who's going home, these huge stakes. And the stakes are there for these teams. But the other thing that's there is an incredible love of the game and of each other. Yeah. And that was really cool to see that showcased in this way.
Yeah, it's nice to see the camaraderie and just having fun with it. That's why we're all here, right, to celebrate the game, to enjoy it together. And I think both of these teams really felt that spirit. Going with the double support band, having a little bit of fun there on Grace and Sky City. And Shuffle, maybe the stronger team today, it's fair to say. But both these teams acquitting themselves well. Shuffle going to go on further into the tournament. We'll see what they can do against continued competition, continuing on into the bracket. We're going to be saying goodbye to CLGG, though, who put on a great showing for the fans, for the audience, and showed us all something new here on Grace and Sky City.
I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. A team like that, they don't come around all the time.
You gotta put some respect on that. A team that's like willing to have fun there. You talk about it with all the pressure. Got to tip our hats, of course, to CLGG. Well done by them. Winning some impressive, those 1v1s got wow. We got to see some new finishers. I don't think I've ever seen the Tricero finisher.
I mean, how often do you get to see finishers in a competitive match? You're like vulnerable while doing them. It doesn't happen. So this was really cool. Like you said, wish we had a 1v1 mode, but I think that if you're at home, you could probably find a couple of friends that are willing to take you into the arena on Graceland Sky City.
I wonder if we won't see any other teams going for that. Maybe not in like the higher stakes matches for teams that are really trying to, gut it out and win it all. But for CLGG who go down here, who do you think was MVP in this match? Now, that's a hard one to predict.
Ooh,
who had the most wins, like the most in the arena?
I think I want to go with, this is obviously biased, but partially because of the kills, Haoki Gua looked really good. And then we had that one play out of the Welkin. Was it Jam Lee that ended up winning that? No, it was for Shuffle.
Yeah.
Their Welkin ended up doing really well.
Yeah, I think
that was very
cool. Eliseness had some big plays. The Inferno had some. I think this one's actually so hard to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'd lean Eliseness. Just
could be Panther
slightly.
As well. Panther got two kills.
Yeah. I think Panther didn't quite get into the arena on the second round though. I think they were waiting in the wings, just spectating. They've done their work.
Yeah. The Triceras who just like
Tricera 1v1
damage.
That killed me. I said Tricera 1. I was like, all right, maybe we've come too far here.
Has science gone too far? That genuinely, when it happened, I was like, oh, this is what we're going to watch for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's no Stegos in the mix, right? So maybe that's why no Stegos, you can actually 1v1.
Yeah.
The Stego 1v1 goes crazy, though, I'm not going to lie. It will go crazy. You dancing around on the shield, trying to get behind each other.
I'm just picturing the micro missiles and the gas, and just nobody can hit anything.
It's really great. It's top tier esports competition.
Yeah. That super fun play out of both of them. And Jake, I want to appreciate you because obviously it was very fun to commentate that. It was also really funny to, from a third-person perspective, watch us get more involved in the nitty-gritty. If they were like, oh, no, this is what you have to save the cooldowns for, when they're just 1v1ing on stage.
You got to have some fun with it, right?
It's true.
For us, too. Let's see. Check out the stats here.
PLE,
my goat.
Yeah.
Respect.
It was MPY though that hit that nasty Welkin 1v1 on 3 HP.
Clutched up on no HP. That was ridiculous.
That's
actually.
my MVP.
That was, in our hearts. we got to put some love on Welkin. I think Haochigua, honorable mention as well. Some impressive stuff.
Crazy Elysnes.
Yeah. Crazy parries. Kind of dominated in the Elysnes 1v1. It was like, oof.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
I hope that they add each other afterwards and continue to play together because once you 1v1 like that,
friendships are being forged here. With those teams having some fun, throwing it down in the 1v1 arena. Grace and Sky City has some great 1v1 arenas. Yeah. That first map as well, it's kind of the natural Thunderdome. It's I'm used to having one team camp in there, the other team outside. No, this time we're all spectators, all fans watching the show.
Discipline out of them as well.
It's kind of crazy he did 800K in a game where he's like AFK 2/3 of the time. That's a lot.
It is. It is.
That was kind of wild, actually. I gotta get my hands on this striker and put it to the test. It looks really solid here in the Invitation.
Yeah,